Right.
Yes.
Woo!
STFU.
Okay, well, now that's been done.
Yes.
Okay, so off the racism.
Oh, and but one real quick thing. Her answer
was a non-answer, but it was an answer she wished they'd asked. She
pretty
went
much
on to gun
confirmed it.
violence.
She confirmed it. She pretty much said that we're going to go up against violence of all kinds. She couldn't answer. I would have said, we have examples of ISIS killing everywhere, including on U.S. soil.
Right.
What the hell do you think San Bernardino was?
But they won't go against that violence. And here recently, within the past couple of days, there's some news that came out that said that the Democrats are drafting up paperwork to charge people with hate crimes against Islamic folks here in America for saying things that
hate crime. The
saying
whole
things
idea,
against Islam.
The idea of any kind of crime,
it's all based in
being singled out and heightened and enhanced based on the difference in color of skin between the victim and the perpetrator does nothing more than perpetrate the racism and feelings of hatred towards other races already. It just adds to it. It enhances the bad feelings that some people might feel towards others of a different race. That's all it does.
That's where I saw it. The Blaze. Although Glenn Beck is really losing his mind now, and he's under investigation for other things.
He is? I didn't know
he's got some issues that are starting to come forth.
Oh boy.
Okay, that aside, the Blaze it's got news. It's pretty good stuff. This came out the 6th. It's 9:00 this morning, and this is where I saw the article. Free speech versus Islam. Democrats' bill is the bridge to nowhere.
So, just based on that, I didn't read this article, but based on that, are we talking about the Democrats trying to come up with a clearly unconstitutional law that will ban people the freedom of speech in order to label them racist?
Evidently, our legislators suffer an affliction of Islamophobia phobia.
Islamophobia.
Right. So,
wait, so that makes them scared of people that are Islamophobic?
Right. So on December 17th, this was a couple months ago, House Democrats introduced House Resolution 569, condemning violence, bigotry, and hateful rhetoric towards Muslims in America.
This is completely unconstitutional. Completely. This is the most clear violation of the First Amendment I've seen in a long time.
Yes.
This is not yelling fire in a crowded theater. This is just saying anything.
Yes.
Did you hear that the freedom of speech, First Amendment rights are completely illegal in China? And the reason is because they're worried that it gives their citizens or subjects, whatever they call them over there, the ability to protest. And they do not want that. So
you don't want no speaking up.
So that's it.
Okay, so Bill Kristol, the head of the National Review, Bill Kristol.
Isn't he supposed to be a right-winger?
He was supposed to be back in the day. Him and a guy named Heilman, they were both on Scarborough. And they said, well, I guess it's Hilary, not Trump.
Oh, gosh. Let me hear
2H. Roll with it. Where's 2H? There it is.
What's the smartest move for the Republicans that don't want Trump? Right now, what needs to happen?
You need to beat him in Florida and Ohio, the first two winner-take-all states, which means there has to be a de facto agreement, really, between the opposition candidates, between the resistance to Trump, which I'm proud to be a part of, because I think it'd be a terrible nominee and a terrible president. There has to be a de facto agreement between Rubio, Cruz, and Kasich.
Who has the authority to broker that deal right now?
Well, they need to. I mean, they need to defer to Rubio in Florida and defer to Kasich probably in Ohio and say, basically, imply at least that if you are a Cruz voter in Ohio and if you look up the day before the primary, and it's Trump 42%, Kasich 35%, vote for Kasich. And the truth is, if Trump doesn't win Florida and Ohio, it remains very much of an open race. Now, Hillary Clinton has a clear majority of the popular vote, a clear majority of the delegates. It's very hard to see how Bernie Sanders could catch her. Donald Trump has 35% of the popular vote and 47% of the delegates. That's a lot better than having 24% of the popular vote and 25% of the delegates granted.
I think, as you talk...
Okay, now this is Heilman.
More and more to Republicans who want to stop Donald Trump, who will say to you, either privately or sometimes publicly, they would rather vote for Hillary Clinton than vote for Donald Trump. And the people who are going to try to stop him, their attitude is...
Nobody says that.
We know that what would happen at a contested convention if we took the nomination away from Donald Trump with a plurality of the delegates. What would happen is we would likely alienate his supporters and we would likely lose the presidential election. But their position is it would be better for us to lose the election than to have Donald Trump tear the party in half as the nominee. Now, you can say that's suicidal, but that is the posture of a lot of people. And their view is that Trump would have huge negative effects down ballot.
So Bill, here's a problem.
And would also lose
in
the election.
2016.
And shouldn't win the election. So, yeah, I agree.
So here's a problem.
I love that how he pointed out the hypocrisy of the whole thing. Why are you going to sit there and take away from Trump when you can't get? I don't know. It's
well, what's the hypocrisy is that they're worried that Trump is going to tear the entire party apart.
Right.
At the same time,
They're
Trump is actually trying to unite the party.
Well, no, so. Okay, yeah, I remember now. So they're worried about Trump tearing the party apart, which I don't see that happening. I mean, there's three different camps in the Republican Party now. You got your establishment, which would be like your people that wanted Jeb Bush or wanted Rubio, or they weren't even sure about Rubio at first. They went to Rubio when they realized nobody likes Jeb Bush for whatever reason. And then they transferred over to Rubio. And what happened was Rubio started consolidating the establishment. And now he's got decent numbers because all of the fractured establishment has this unwritten agreement now. Hey, we're establishment. We got to go for Rubio. He's willing to play ball with us.
Not only that, but Rubio's campaign manager was at a private event with $1 million donors, kind of people, really exclusive. And apparently, Breitbart had a plant in there, or somebody was partial to Breitbart. And when that meeting was over, they recorded Rubio's manager talking about a broker convention, and the broker convention would be to remove the election, remove all the delegates away from Trump, and literally handpick and nominate Rubio.
Right. Well, so you got your establishment people, and then you have your conservatives, which constitutional conservatives, which are like really hardcore libertarians, and they're all for Cruz, and like the Rand Paul, the original old school before Rand Paul blew it by throwing Bevins under the bus. Those people are like, I'm all for Cruz because it's all about constitutionalism. Right. And then you got the Trump supporters, which right now seem to outnumber either of the two camps of the Republican Party. So I don't call that tearing it apart. I mean, we're going to fight to the end to see who has the most, and then hopefully, let's say it's Trump. Hopefully, cooler heads will prevail, and the Cruz constitutionalists will realize they're not really constitutionalists if they don't at least prevent a socialist or
takeover, right,
or a criminal communist like Clinton to take over. And the people on the establishment side say, well, let's at least not throw the baby out with the bathwater and destroy the Republican Party by supporting the leader. Now, you just mentioned a brokered convention. Let's explain to everybody very briefly what we're talking about at the convention. So the convention requires that you have at least 50% plus one delegates when you arrive in Cleveland for the convention in order for everybody to say, all right, you're our nominee. That's 1,250 1,237 delegates. That's what you have to achieve before the convention. Once you get to the convention, if nobody has the 1,237, then they will do one vote. And the pledged delegates have to vote who they are supposed to vote for. They have no say in it.
Right.
They have to vote who they were told to vote for.
Correct. Just Rubio.
If that,
because Bush isn't in it no more.
No. I'm saying
Right.
if you want, if you're from a state, let's say you're from Ohio, and Kasich wins Ohio, and it's a winner take all. That means every one of those delegates must cast their ballot for Kasich. Even the Trump supporters. I met 3 delegates from Ohio at the Trump rally. They have to vote for Kasich if Kasich wins. However, if the first vote goes through and there's no winner, then the second vote is whoever the hell you want to vote for.
Rubio.
Well, it depends. The Trump supporters who are delegates.
The delegates. Okay, so
instead
delegates aren't necessarily in the pockets of the GOP.
Yeah, I mean, I met the 2 that I met that are delegates from Ohio.
Screaming for Trump.
No way. They'll have to vote for Kasich if Kasich wins Ohio. But if Kasich, or if let's say there's no winner after the first vote, then it's a free for all. And before they cast their ballot, the candidates are going to get a chance to go around and talk to these people.
So a brokered convention could actually backfire on the GOP by trying to steal it.
So I didn't mention the brokered convention yet. The brokered convention is before you do your second vote, let's get all the biggest, most powerful people in the back room with
smoky cigars.
Get the cigars out. We'll all light up a cigar. And then we'll start to
close that window. There's no windows open in here.
No windows. There's one light. There's that one where the shade is opaque and it's like a cone shape.
Right.
Yeah, one light, one table, smoke everywhere. The walls are black.
Right.
You don't even see the walls. You just know they're there because this is a small room. And they're going to say, all right, this is how it works. They're smoking our cigarette. They're puffing it out. This is how it's going to work.
They sound like Marge Schott.
They sound like Marge Schott. And, yeah. So they're going to decide before they leave that room who it is we're going to nominate. And they're hoping that those smoky room people, they're going to say, all right, like, we know Trump's out. So let's talk about who we're going to put in there.
What we do next?
We know Trump's out.
Who can you swallow? Who can you just bite your lip and
we know Cruz is out.
Pull the hand.
We know Cruz is out.
All right, Kasich,
you know what could happen? No.
Rubio.
It won't be Kasich. It won't be Rubio. This is what's going to happen. They're going to say, all right, fun's over. Let's put in who we know needs to be put in.
Bush.
Not Jeb Bush. Mitt Romney.
Yes.
That's what's going to happen.
They're going to swing Mitt Romney up
is
in
going
the
to
house.
throw in there, and they're going to say, we got a clean Boy Scout here.
Well, it's not as clean as you think he is.
Right.
Speaking about that, all right, never mind. We'll get that later. So, what's his face asked Trump about that? He said, "What do you make of them trying to take the nomination away from you by a brokered convention?" And to see Trump responds in kind real quickly.
Well, I'm very surprised by it, and I'm very surprised to hear about a third party because I'm going to appoint conservative judges, and a third party would mean that Hilary would win or whoever is going to be running. And you're going to have liberal judges, probably as many as 4 or even 5, if you can believe that, during this period of time.
They're all getting old.
So a third party means absolutely they will have 4 or 5 very liberal judges appointed as opposed to 4 or 5 very conservative judges. So I think it's really playing with fire.
Yes. What the GOP is doing is absolutely playing with fire.
Oh, and by the way, for all of you, quote, air quote, conservatives who decided that Mitt Romney wasn't conservative enough for you, so you stayed at home. You're the reason why the communist, the red diaper baby, is going to do the most important, one simple little thing that's